Okay, now. We're live,
Oh,
I think, with headphones.
okay.
The Zoom meeting isn't visible yet, I guess, but we're going to have Jan Evers from copteruni.com join us in a second to talk about the new EU drone regulations, because I don't know if you've been studying, but I haven't.
No, of course not.
So he's going to tell us all about it, and we're going to be as prepared as ever.
So I'm in a really bad situation right now
Why?
because I can hear you through my headphones.
Yeah?
Then I can hear myself through this mic.
Yeah? Oh, so you're going to be slowing down again?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
uh, so, well, that sucks for you.
It does.
Because I got the Japanese headphones. I'm perfect. Like, I can't even hear you half
I
the
know.
time. Yeah. That's how it's done. All right. Can't you like turn off? Well, I guess no. Never mind. Stupid.
Dude, you're gonna say something really stupid, man. Just turn it off.
Just turn it off, then you can't hear shit. All right. So we're gonna be talking about the EU drone regulations. They've been announced pretty recently, and they're pretty sweeping, I guess.
It's announced and it's like launched, like in place.
I don't know.
That's how prepared.
I don't
we
know,
are.
but Jan is gonna tell us all about it. Like that's why we got him on.
That's the whole point of the show. Okay.
Jan is an old buddy of mine. We shot the Brazil videos together.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Cause he got us a free flight to Brazil.
Okay.
More or less free, pretty free.
Pretty free.
And it was the only time that I flew back in an empty plane. Because the tail was broken of the plane, and they had to wait for 2 days, so they flew everybody out, and we were like, well, we don't give a fuck, 2 days more, hooray, right? So we stayed 2 days longer in Brazil, and then took it's called a ferry flight, like completely empty flight, and we got because every flight has 200 free Wi-Fi vouchers, so we got 200 Wi-Fi vouchers. We were able to sit on every seat in the economy class, and anyway, all kinds of shit was done that I can't even talk about. So anyway, we'll see how we can make this work and get Jan on. So Jan, you're live now. So in terms of sound, and we're gonna get
Great.
you on. And 1 second. Here we go. Move this over. And then. Computer. There we go. And you're live on the screen as well.
Clearly, Jan
Perfect,
doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't have a professional camera or a professional background.
Well, yeah, exactly. He makes us look like amateurs.
That's a halo
Damn.
effect, so in case of that, you'll look like pros as well.
Okay, all right.
That lighting.
So,
We'll have to
Yeah,
look
so
into that.
yeah, no problem at all. So, yeah, thank you for your introduction. And by the way, the trip was awesome. Still thinking about that. Was quite a big pleasure to have that kind of stuff done.
One of the highlights for sure, yeah. Running away from the cops chasing us down the hill from the statue because they didn't allow us to fly, and we were like, okay, fuck off, and then we went into the jungle and flew up.
How long ago was that?
That
Was
was-
the jungle? Yeah. that
How
was
long
quite
ago
nice.
was that? 6-7 years at
Oh.
least, right?
2013, something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Or 12?
All right.
I don't really know.
Early
Yeah,
days.
quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TBS Discovery, no pro.
No problem.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hovered the disco, trying to get a shot of the Jesus statue from far away,
Mhm.
and then because it was easy UHF, it fail safed and never came back. And it was a DJI without GPS, so there was no return to home. So it just hovered, and the wind just carried it out over the city.
Yeah, and we
Beautiful
could
shot.
see it how it moved further and further away.
Yeah, and
But the
then
weird thing about that is, I might guess you will tell it right now. So go ahead.
yeah, well the link came back, right? At the very end,
Oh, it came back at the end.
just before we ran out of battery. Yeah, and so he was my spotter. He was guiding me to the place where I needed to land,
Okay.
and then we crashed into some rich fuck's backyard, super rich fuck.
Okay.
and then we drove there. We found the fucking place, and then we paid the gardener $200 to get the drone out.
You
Yeah,
crash
it
into
was
the gardener's backyard.
Yeah, yeah. And like, okay, there was like a wall to the jungle, right? And we hit the top of the wall. Because if we would have went over, no fucking way we would have ever found it.
And we
Anyway,
were so lucky to just ask the only one guy within the middle of nowhere, actually, and he said, yes, there was something, I will look that up, and we have it all on cam. It was so crazy, actually. It's unbelievable.
such a random event. Okay, anyway, we're talking about the EU drone laws. So Wade already had the first question. Are these laws already active right now, or?
No, they are not active. They will come into force on 21st of December this year, actually. They have been delayed for 6 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but they will come into force, 21st.
So in 4 days, next Monday.
End of this month, yeah, something like this, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
not 4 days. So
21st.
New Year.
Oh,
31st.
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 Yeah, 31st.
Okay, so in 2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, actually. So I'm out of the time right now due to the fact that we have to prepare a lot regarding this stuff.
So yeah, you must be busy. So do you want to show the presentation, or do you want to talk about it real quick, like a summary, or how do you want to do it?
I can give you a short summary if you like, and use the presentation as well, just for the visuals to get it more into the brain due to the fact that it's quite a big fuck up regarding new regulations. It's all mixed up. And the good thing about it, in the end, we have a standardized approach all over Europe. So not every country doing their own regulations, but it's more or less the same. Although every country can do their own laws and special things, but that's completely okay for me. So for all the guys out there, should be in the end easier than before. But it also depends on your operations, because they now have a complete risk-based approach and not a weight-based approach than before in the different countries.
And this affects both commercial pilots and like hobbyists, I guess, right?
Yeah, so there's no differentiation between commercial pilots and hobbyists in the future. That's quite okay. So everybody has the same rules, due to the fact that it makes no difference regarding the risk if you are doing it commercially or as a hobbyist.
Well, that's what we were saying.
But it also has a big impact on the FPV scene as well. You're not as free as before, actually, but we'll see that in a minute what that means. But maybe I can tell in the beginning why they have changed that, or why they come with that regulation, if that's interesting. So I can.
Okay, hang on. We have some audio issues. We are asked to turn up your volume a bit. So
sure.
Just keep.
So I can do it here with my gain. Is it now better then?
Okay, yeah, you're good. Okay. I'm reading some of the questions here from the chat. Maybe we can go into this before we talk about the whole thing. So just to summarize what you've said, basically there will be a harmonized rule across all of Europe, or across all of EU, right? So the first
all
guy
over
here
Europe.
is already asking, how about Switzerland?
They will participate as well.
Okay.
But there has been a called motion for about 2 weeks, I guess, where the Model Aircraft Club claimed that they want to reassess the rules, and due to that they have a delay as well. So
in Switzerland,
especially in Switzerland. But Norway, for example, is part of this as well. Iceland as well. So all the countries from the EU plus the European, how it's called, commercial room or something like that.
Okay. All right.
All the EASA member states, actually, which is the European Safety Agency.
Okay, and that in that case, even the Brits couldn't escape it.
I guess so. I'm not quite sure, but I guess they could not escape. Yeah.
All right.
They should be aware of this. Yeah.
So floor is yours. Let us have it.
Starting with the why. I try to share my screen, and let's see how that looks like on the stream then. as it's called. So at first, the why. So why have they implemented the new rules? It's more or less to bring more growth to the whole market, which is also interesting for Trappy and all you TBS guys out there. And they some kind made the rules more easier to understand for all the people out there. And by that, offering also more possibilities regarding commercial operations and private operations as well. Nevertheless, they want to keeping Europe's drone sector innovative or making it innovative. Depends on how you look at this. As I see Trappy's already smiling regarding this. So this is a try to make it a little bit better. Of course, the harmonization of the whole rules is a very important factor. And it even makes cross-border operations very, very easy regarding this kind of stuff. Yeah, and of course, safety first. They want to increase safety. We'll see if that works due to the simpler rules. And yeah, what is the new approach? I already told you just a little bit about that. So it's a mainly risk-based approach. So they see what kind of risk are you doing with your operation. Do you have a heavy drone or do you have a light drone? Is this drone fast or is it slow? And depending on this, you have different risks. And as well, looking at the area where you are flying. So are you doing your operations within an urban area where you have a high density of people, for example, or doing it in the Alps or on the free field, where nobody is hurt in case of an engine failure or things like that. So that is the new one. As I already said, there's no distinction between private or commercial use. And we have now the new drones, which will be there, will be separated into different classes. They then get a C-class label. Everything okay? Or
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
We just
They have a
sorry.
I see.
Okay, you're back.
They have a C-class label in the future. So, and this C-class label separates the drones regarding to their abilities and their technical things they have inside, but I can tell you later more about that. And they have standardized the rules, but it's yet flexible for the member states themselves. So if you have special requirements in Switzerland, they will put something on top on the rules for the special requirements within that country. So that's about that, the new approach. And I guess there might be some questions regarding this. For example,
I don't know. Can you see the comments?
Well, I do have one.
Yeah, I tried to look.
Point number one.
All right, go ahead.
Sure.
So it's a risk-based approach, right? And who is assessing these risks?
So there are different categories where you need to assess a risk, and this is only done in the specific category, and not in the open category where all the hobbyists are in. They defined the rules of the open category so that the risk is quite low, as you will see in the next slides. They are quite restricted, the open category, but if you have a higher risk, you fall into the specific category, and then you have to do a risk assessment. And there are 4 different ways to do that: via a SORA, standardized operational risk assessment, or you have predefined risk assessments, which you can get from the authority. For example, there will be standard scenarios where you can say, I like the standard scenario number 2, where I can fly beyond visual line of sight, and I may use visual observers every 1 kilometer, for example. And even for the big companies who have a big drone fleet, they can apply for a LUC. It's called Light Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Operator Certificate. It's like an airline certificate just for small drones, for example, but not for the hobbyists.
Okay.
Yeah.
So beyond visual line of sight will be legally possible.
Will be legally possible. But you need to have a special drone for that with a C6 class label, for example. This is more for the commercial guys out there. You need a flight termination system within that drone. You need some kind of sensing and remote identification things in there. And but generally it will be possible. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, one viewer is saying the C-class is what will fuck us hard. You will never be able to C-class your hobbyist build.
Yeah, that's correct. But the C-class is only for flying in the open category. And if you already have an existing drone, which you have self-built as well, you will always be able to fly it in the subcategory A1 or A3. And what that means, I can show you in a minute or two. Definitely. So, yeah, another thing which is important, almost everybody, I need to say, has to register themselves within that member state where his residence is. And it's mandatory for a maximum takeoff mass greater than 250 grams. And this is not the actual takeoff mass. This is the takeoff mass the manufacturer defines, right?
Okay.
So something like the maximum possible takeoff mass. And if that is greater than 250 grams, then you need to register yourself. Or if you have a sensor on board where you can collect personal data, like a camera, then you need to register yourself as well. Or the impact energy we have here as well with the 80 joules. This is from the perspective that a drone with this kind of energy will hit a head of a human and that the human is not getting injured. That's it. Yeah, you do the registration with your National Aviation Authority from 31st of December 2020. And yeah, then you get a registration number. It's a so-called EID, electronic identification number. This one you have to put on your drone. You can do it with plain numbers, or you can do it as a QR code as well if you like. And additionally, if you have the possibility, you need to insert it in the software of the drone, if you have the possibility for that, for the remote identification. Okay.
All right.
That's for registration things.
So there will be like a little number that you have to put on the drone, I guess, just like you do right now, right?
Yeah, definitely. So just a number like a car plate for your car, for example. And there you don't have the personal data of yourself or of the pilot on top, so just this number.
Just an ID, okay.
And
is it per drone or per pilot?
It is per operator. So the law differentiates between operator and the remote pilot. In most cases, the operator and the remote pilot are the same guys or the same person. But if you are a company, you are the operator and your pilots are the remote pilots, and you need to register as an operator. Okay. But some countries interpret this rule a little bit different. So in some countries, you need to register as a remote pilot as well, and not as an operator. But yeah, we'll see how that comes out in the end.
Okay, because then you could get around it by just opening up a company, basically, and hiring all these pilots for no money. And then you basically
in the end, the company is liable.
Yeah, exactly. The drone law breaking. You see, man, that's how like fucking loophole that shit within like 3 minutes, man. Just completely and gone.
Yeah, I guess with the operator registration, you have to hand in some documents which are showing who's responsible for the operation, and this one guy is then the guy where they come at first, and then this guy says, no, it was this pilot, and then the pilot is responsible in the end as well, as usual.
Okay, good. Well, we just have to find like some homeless dude in Hong Kong. He's gonna open up.
I see.
Yeah, man. We'll get it done. Okay. Continue.
There
with
will be some holes. Okay, as I already told you, in the future we have 3 different categories where you can operate your drone in. You have the open category, you have the specific category, and the certified category. And for most hobbyists, the open category will be sufficient. There, you don't need any operational authorization. That's why it's called open category. So, and within that open category, you have 3 subcategories. So it's A1, A2, and A3. And within the open category, you are only allowed to fly visual line of sight. So you need always to have the drone in sight. But for the FPV guys out there, there's a way to do that as well. With a goggle, for example, you need to have an observer for that kind of stuff, and then you can fly with your goggles as well. Why is that like that, I can explain you later. The good thing about the open category, you can fly with quite heavy drones, up to 25 kilograms, without any operational authorization for that. But you are not allowed to fly over assemblies of people. In some cases, you might fly over uninvolved persons, but never over assemblies of people. And these kind of assembly of people means like a crowd where the individual is not able to go away from that crowd very easily, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, once you are not able to fly in the open category, you will be automatically in the specific category. There you need to have a permit for that. You need to do the risk assessment, as I already told you. You can use the standard scenarios, predefined risk assessments, etc., etc. But this is a quite unique category for the commercial pilots, which we'll not cover here in depth, because most of the FPV guys will fly in the open, I guess. And last but not least, we have the certified category, which will come entry into force much later. And this is for all the things where you have high risk operation. For example, if you want to fly over assemblies of people, where you have to transport people, all the air taxis, for example, or where you transport dangerous goods, explosives, and things like that, as you are usually doing. And generally, if the risk is too high. Then you'll be in the certified category, and the requirements for the pilots are also quite high there, but they are not defined in detail yet, actually. Yeah, and starting with the open category, generally you are able to fly 120 meters high, and this is always above terrain. So just imagine like a bubble around your drone with a radius of 120 meters. You are able to ascend a hill, for example, and might fly 100 meters above ground all the time. That's for the open category. A flight path would look like this, actually. And if you have an obstacle, for example, within a range of 50 meters of that obstacle, you are even allowed to get plus 50 meters of that obstacle height to make it possible to do wind turbine inspections and things like this without any permission, but only on request of the guy who owns the wind turbine, for example.
Okay. So the height is not determined by, let's say, a building or so, but it's determined by the terrain.
It's by the terrain, by the terrain. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 25 kilogram maximum, as I already told you. Generally in the open category, you have to keep your drone in VLOS. As I said, with goggles, you need an observer next to you who's able to tell you, hey, there's a building, or there's an obstacle, or there's a low approach of an helicopter, things like that, so that he can warn you, due to the fact that they want you to scan the airspace all the time, and they say with a goggle you are not able to do that. So, yeah. And of course, there will be no fly zones. They will be implemented within the drones or within some apps where you can look that up. This is in the responsibility of the member states, and you have to be aware of that zones as well, and are not allowed to fly into that. In Germany, for example, above railroads or things like that. These are some new fly zones. Yeah, and then we have the three subcategories: A1, A3, A1, A2, and A3. And generally, you can say in A1 you are allowed to fly close to people. In A2 you are allowed to fly at a certain distance to people. In A3 you need to fly far away from people, actually. And what that means is, in detail, of course, in A1 you are not allowed to fly over assemblies of people, but with a self-built drone, which is lighter than 250 grams and has a maximum speed of 19 meters per second. This is approximately 68.4 kilometers per hour. And with that kind of drone, you are allowed to fly over uninvolved persons, as well with a drone of a class C0 or CO, for example. This is a different classes. I'll show you that later. So with this kind, you are allowed to fly over uninvolved persons, but of course you need to keep the time as short as possible when you fly over uninvolved persons with this kind of drones. Additionally, you can fly a C1 drone, and here on the right side, you can just get an idea what that means, the classification of the drones. So C0, C1 in terms of the maximum takeoff mass, the speed, for example, or what kind of stuff the drone needs to fulfill to get those kinds of marking. But in the end, you as a pilot don't care about that, actually, due to the fact that you just purchase a drone and it has some kind of label or not. You are not able to do it as a pilot yourself to classify this drone, for example. Okay. And yeah, if you want to fly in the open category A1, you need to do an online course and exam. It consists of 40 multiple choice questions. And yeah, with a C1 drone, you may overfly uninvolved persons, but only by mistake. So if it happens, reduce the time as much as possible. I guess here will be some more questions regarding this kind of stuff as usually. Just looking to the right. Okay, member of a club to fly in the open. We need to distinguish between the open category and flying within model aircraft associations. This complete parallel universum, for example. The model aircraft associations will get their own authorizations from the member state, for example, where they define their rules and procedures, for example, how to fly. And within those associations, it might be even easier to fly FPV in the future, because they might define some kind of procedures, and then you can fly there. Eventually, much easier FPV than in the open category. So recreational area. Yeah, it's what I just see here in Sweden with the recreational area. It's the member states have to define which areas are recreational, industrial, and things like that. But yeah, that's it due to that.
Whoops and Cinewhoops would be A1, is that correct?
So Whoops and Cinewhoops would be A1. So all the legacy drones, which are already in the market, have to be differentiated between the weights, so below 250 gram or above. If it's below, it's A1. If it's above, it's A3.
Okay.
And the Whoops are below 250, so they are A1 within that, things like that, yeah. But what I forget to say, if you have a drone below 250 grams, you don't need to do the online examination and things like that as well. So you don't need an exam for that.
Okay.
If your drone has follow me mode, you need to make sure that you have the maximum range of 50 meters between you and the drone. Yeah, that's just one more thing. And yeah, that's it to the open category A1. And next is the A2, if you can still follow.
Yeah, we're on it.
Yep.
Okay. It's like school again.
Yeah, great. Of course, A2, no uninvolved persons, like in A1. There you were allowed, but in A2 you're not allowed to fly over uninvolved persons. Additionally, you need a minimum horizontal distance of 30 meters to the uninvolved persons. But this can be reduced to a minimum of 5 meters if you enable a so-called slow flight mode, where your drone just travels 3 meters per second fast at that time. But you need also to apply the 1-to-1 rule. I don't know, is it a regular name? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, well, for every 1 meter of distance, you need to have 1 meter of height.
Ah.
Yeah, correct. That's the 1-to-1 rule. You need to apply this as well with regards to safety. So these are the distances, minimum 5 meter when you have a slow flight mode. There, as a pilot, you need a little bit more qualification. You need on top, what I've said before, the A1 license, you need on top another theoretical examination where you have to answer 30 questions regarding to metrology, technical or risk-based approaches and measures to reduce that risk and things like that. Yeah, that's it. And you can fly C2 class drones within that category. They are up to 4 kilograms heavy. You don't have a maximum speed actually, except the 3 meters per second when you're within those 30 meters to the uninvolved person. And yeah, you need some other things within there. That's it to the A2. So this is a highest or a high demand category regarding the pilot qualification in the open category actually.
Because this is what the professional film rigs would use, right?
Yeah, I guess the real pros will use the specific category in the end because the open category is not very flexible. Yeah, I mean, you can use that for something like an Inspire, for example, or a very light Inspire. You can use that kind of category. If you're happy with that, I don't know. So I will do my professional filming in the future within the specific category, I guess.
Okay.
All right. And then the open category, A3. There you need a far distance from people. You are not allowed to overfly uninvolved persons, of course, and you may never endanger those kind of persons. You must have a minimum distance of 30 meters, or the 1-to-1 rule, or the 2 times the maximum speed of your drone, the higher of this one. Additionally, you need a horizontal safe distance of 150 meter to the residential, commercial, industrial, and recreational areas. So there you need to be far away from everything, actually. But within that class, you can fly with drones up to 25 kilograms, even with drones like in the C4 class, where you have not very high technical standards inside, like a model aircraft, which is quite heavy, for example, or a drone, a racer, a heavy-duty racer, for example. You can do it within those, or within this category. And yeah, that's it. You need to do the same exam as in A1, as it is the same license. It's a combined license, A1, A3. So, and that's the open category where I guess most of the FPV pilots will fly. So this is from 250 to 25 kilograms in general, you can say, if you like.
Okay.
And a little disclaimer, because I know that everybody starts to look where, in which class his own drone will fit. You should do that because you don't have a label on that. For you, all the guys with existing drones, you'll fly in A1 or A3, as it is defined here in the transitional provisions right now. At first, if you have already a license or an authorization or something else from your authority, they may remain valid until 31st 12 2021. And until then, everything must be converted by your authority. And depends on your authority if they will do it, how they will do it, in which kind of stuff they will convert it. This completely depends on your member state, for example. And yeah, the model aircraft clubs and associations may continue until 1st of July 2022. And then they need to, change their rules regarding the new EU regulations with the authorizations and things like that. Okay. Yeah, basically never fly BLOS without a spotter regardless of camera. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
I mean, that was already the law before, right? And the same
Yeah, more or
thing
less.
about what you mentioned, drones without flight controller. They're the A3 category. And if you fly them outside of model aircraft clubs, you also had to keep a distance of 150 meters to pretty much anything that was human or human built.
Yeah.
I don't, to be honest, I don't think the rules have changed too much. It's just that you need to pass some kind of an exam.
Yeah, definitely. So depends on which kind of country you're looking at. In Germany, it changes quite a lot regarding the rules. In other countries, maybe not that much, depending how much the certain country has put their inputs into the new regulation, right?
Okay.
I guess so. So yeah, and this is a very important part for all you guys, I guess, which are already flying. Already existing drones, as I already said, can be used in the A1 category if you have an MTOM smaller than 250 grams, or A3 when you are over 250 grams all the time. And provided they were placed on the market before the date, the 31st of December 2022. And if you have another drone which does not fulfill that requirements, you can always fly it in this specific category, actually. So that's the alternative as always. And yeah, then we have some transitional provisions, which will be valid until the end of 2022. There you have 3 different weights, actually, where the drones are separated into below 500 grams. Then the competency of the pilot depends on the requirements of the member states, so they can define it. In Germany, you don't need any license to do that, for example. If you have a MTOM between 500 and 2 kilograms, you need an equivalent license to the A2 license, for example. And additionally, you have to have a distance of 50 meter to people. And if you're between 2 kilograms and 25 kilograms, you need an equivalent to the A1, A3 license, and could always also use the distances from the A3 subcategory. That's it, actually. All right, so this was everything in a nutshell. I know this is quite a lot of information, but I guess there would be quite a lot of questions, even from you, I guess, Prati.
Well, I mean, I just have, I think this is, I don't. Can you turn off the slides so that we can get you
sure.
again on the? There we go.
I do have one question.
Sorry.
That's great.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much
Thank you.
for taking the time to explain this to all the retards out there. So if I am flying a 5-inch drone with my number one freestyle in a park or whatever, I'm guessing I will need to do a basic test and I need to do the registration.
Yeah, registration definitely. So, and then it depends how heavy the 5-inch drone is in general.
Yeah.
So
500 grams, let's say.
yeah, so 500 grams within that transitional provision, for example. If you're slightly above 500 grams, you need the A2 license to do that, but you need to be 50 meters away from people additionally. Yeah, so until the end of 2022 and beyond that date, you need to go outside of the park and fly it in the free space within the A3 category.
Okay, so A2 is what most people will be looking at, I guess, unless they're below 500 grams, and then they can go for the A1, right?
Yeah, then they can go for the A1 or the rules the member state defines. So this is the MTOM 500 thing here. From the last slide, the member state defines within that transitional period how the education needs to look like. Because, I need to say that again, you are able to fly with your existing drone within A1 or A3 after the period of transitions. So, and within that period, you are even able to fly in the A2 category, but plus 50 meters distance from people, for example.
Okay.
With the same rules and obligations.
And if I have an A2, I automatically also have the A1.
Yeah, this is a pre-requirement to do the A2. You need to pass the A1, A3. And for example, if you do it with us, you can simply upload your license, A3, A1 license, and we'll check that. And then you are able to do the A2 license. And a very important notice, you can do it completely online. And only the registration needs to be in your state of residence, but all the training and other things, you can do it completely online within any country, for example, even with us, because we have a complete online approach regarding the examination as well.
Okay, and the exam is in English or is it in German or is it?
We'll offer it in German and English, and later we hope to offer it in other languages as well. And the course as well will be in German and English at first, and later in other languages as well. We're currently hoping for a digital avatar where I speak Chinese, for example, as well. We're trying that also with AI and things like
We
that.
can get Wayne to do the lip sync.
Yeah, for example.
Okay, so that's one thing. And what if I want to fly beyond visual line of sight, and let's pretend that I want to fly it legally? What do I have to do?
Yeah. So you have
like long range up the mountain, not higher than 120 meters.
Yeah. So this might be an option for the standard scenario number 2 within the specific category. So at first, the drone must fulfill the requirements of this kind of category. So this is with the flight termination system and
What
some
does that
other
mean?
things.
Like a kill switch?
No, a parachute, for example.
Oh.
Where you reduce the impact energy in case of any failure, for example.
So you need a parachute for this?
Well, this is one example. I mean, you can put in an airbag, for example, in case it drops down. You can reduce the impact energy with this kind of stuff, something like this. So it's not the thing is about the EU regulations. They are not defined in very detail. They are quite generous to give them the possibilities to develop systems for this kind of stuff.
So, like for example, if you throw off the battery, that would.
You need to be able to control it every time safely. So I don't think that.
Well,
that
you could put like a battery ejection switch, right? So and then the battery
servo
flies
down
out, and now it's lighter. That's how I
Yeah, you
would
can
do
try
it.
that, but I guess they won't accept that.
Okay.
But a nice
So
idea.
I do have a question for Trappy.
Yeah, sure.
What are the punishments?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about the scenario first, and then
Okay,
let's talk
alright.
about the
The punishments.
punishments.
So yeah, so standard scenario number 2, there you're allowed to fly beyond visual line of sight. With that kind of drones, you need special training for beyond visual line of sight flights in practical manner, and in a theoretical manner, it's like an upgrade to the A2, for example, where you need an additional module for this kind of stuff. And then you just can declare that you want to do that with your authority, and they say, okay, declaration received, you are able to do that within those standard scenario. If you need more flexibility, you can even do a risk assessment, for example. That's quite a lot of paperwork, and can fly with that kind of stuff as well.
Okay, but so if I say I want to fly beyond visual line of sight, and let's say I have a parachute and all of this, then I can just fly wherever the fuck I want, or do I need to have do I need to make a flight plan every time?
You need to make sure that you have visual observers every 1 kilometer from your distance,
Okay.
and every 1 kilometer visual observer. And in the standard scenario, you're allowed to fly up to 2 kilometers in total, I guess, within the standard scenario. But
Okay.
of course, out of the standard scenario, you are able to fly as long as you want to go. And then the authority defines how your training has to look like. And this will be different in every single country as well, and how your drone needs to look like. But this will be definitely possible. You need some kind of automation in that kind of stuff. So in case of a remote or lost link, you need to have a return to home, for example, or things like that. But it will be possible, definitely. So
Okay.
that's why a lot of commercials are looking at that specific category, because it's very interesting for this kind of flights.
So going back into the loopholes, the category A1 or A2 or A3, I forgot which one, but they do require to have a spotter.
Once you have a goggle on
Yes.
on your eyes.
So does it say how far a spotter can see?
Yeah, it must be. So the spotter is not therefore to extend your personal visual range, for example.
Yeah.
It needs to be the same, and the spotter must be next to you,
Yeah.
and the spotter must be able to identify obstacles and things like that.
But let's
So
say,
you-
because Wayne, he has like small eyes, so he can see way
Yeah.
further than me, right?
Yeah, I see.
So I could fly like 50 kilometers, and Wayne could be my spotter, and would that still be like...
I can see
No,
it.
the responsible guy is always you as a pilot.
Okay.
So
Okay.
You're fine.
in the end, you're responsible for that. When Wayne says, "Hey, there is no obstacle," and you crash into one, you
Yeah,
have the
okay.
shit on your
No, but I
hands.
mean, like, would it still be legal if, like, would it still be
No.
considered line of sight? I guess
No,
not, right?
definitely not, because you must be able to identify your drone at all the times, and need to be able to steer your drones with regard of obstacles within that range, yeah, and to make sure that you can
Okay.
keep that distance. Yeah.
All right. So it's pretty much like right now you have to ask for forgiveness. Or pay the
Oh,
fines.
nice.
So let us know how much the fines are.
Yeah, this it actually depends on the state. So in Germany, for a small thing, or what, not a small thing, it's called, I don't know how the English translation is, Ordnungswidrigkeit,
Yeah,
You know
minor offense. Yeah.
minor offense up to 50,000, for example, euros. But it simply depends on the state and the impact on the
The
flight
gravity of the and I guess how many times you've been told.
operation. Definitely, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So
But
up
I
to
think
50.
it's cheaper to just do the things here and to stick with the rules and save the money and pay it for TBS equipment and things
Yeah,
like that.
I definitely agree with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I can see how some pilots of course, myself excluded, would probably have problems maintaining visual line of sight for some of their flights.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so thanks very much. So if somebody wants to do that course, can they do it right now, or do they have to wait until the new year, or?
Yeah, they have to wait until the new year. Within Germany, every old drone school is in a recertification process right now. We are still awaiting the confirmation by the authority, and this will be earliest in the new year, actually. And until that time, we will keep the new content hidden, actually, for the guys, but they can subscribe on the page to be on the list and start immediately once they want to do that. For the A2 category, and the A1, A3 category license you can do with your national aviation authority in most of the countries.
Okay, so if somebody, do you already know like how much this is going to cost? If I want to do a A1, no, actually A2 would be what I would be going for. So A1 plus A2.
Yeah, A1, A3, as it is done by the authorities, will be in the lower to euro range, so something around 30 to 50 euros. In Germany, maybe an interesting hint in the beginning, it should be for free actually, because they couldn't manage to change the law regarding the fines for things like that.
Okay.
Right. So it could be for free in Germany and in the beginning, in other countries as well. But this should be quite a low entry point for them. And for the A2 category, we'll see how it develops in the European country. But right now, it's like something around 300 euros, depending on the countries. In some countries, it's more like 1,000 euros. But the 300 euros, where we are, is the more or less lowest point where we get the best, performance out of this and experience and things like that. And with us, even you need to do the examination every 5 years. Need to tell that you as well. And with us, you have lifelong access and can prepare yourself every 5 years for free with the new rules when they are there, and just need to pay a special exam fee, for example.
Okay. All right. So I can do the A2 with you guys, even though I'm in, let's say, Switzerland. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So it doesn't really matter what my aviation authority charges. I can just go to.
Definitely, yeah. And
Poland.
even if you're in Hong Kong or if you're in the Bahamas, or you can even go to Poland.
Yeah.
If there's a guy who is offering that.
That's what all the Swiss people do when they want to get their teeth done. They go to Poland, right?
Okay, and later then go to the Swiss medicine man again, because
exactly.
I was. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Same here, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So is there like a mailing list, or how can people like be reminded when the course is available if they want to go for that?
Yeah, simply join us on Facebook or on the website copteruni.com, and there you have some buttons where you can put in your mail address, just confirm it, and afterwards, once we are ready, you'll get a notification and we'll be the first one who's able to do that. And for all the German guys, for example, we still offer the old one, and this has some benefits regarding to the new one, because you are much more free, but only in Germany. Just check that out for these guys as well. It might be interesting for you as well.
So that would basically give you the old rules for another year.
Yeah.
If I
that, yeah.
All right.
And a very important thing as well, the specific category which we are talking about will be valid in December next year at first. So until this time, we have a little gap in there, and the authorities here in Germany don't know really how to handle that kind of gap yet. And that's why they choose the workaround with the old authorizations and licenses to have more freedom next year.
That's cool. So you can basically get a specific license from now until they actually figure it out.
Yeah, more or less with the freedom of a specific license, but it is not a specific license. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for telling us all this. If you guys want to check out copteruni.com, have a look. Jan is a FPV pilot, and you're also like a real pilot, right?
Yes, still a real pilot. We'll see how long that goes due to the pandemic here. We see, until I get fired, but still a real pilot, yeah.
Well, if you ever get fired, you can just teach us how to fly, right?
Definitely, yeah. We'll do so. Looking forward to this, and actually looking forward to meet you in person again to make some kind like in Rio and
Yeah,
things
when
like that.
when the borders are open again. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
can't do shit here. We can't go anywhere.
Same here. Same
Yeah.
here.
All right, cool. So thank you very much for taking the time and letting us know. That was super interesting. It's actually it
Yeah.
looks like the EU has it figured out this time. Like the FAA is still shitting around,
Good thinking.
right?
Yeah, I mean they have put a lot of power or a lot of work into it and
Mhm.
make it happen. But I guess in the beginning, as usual, there will be some, some problems
Yeah, but-
getting into running. But looks quite okay actually,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's
Especially for the cross-border things, yeah, that you can fly within Switzerland with the same rules, and in Spain with the same rules, and in France. So quite cool actually.
yeah, and like I don't know if people noticed, but because when we started in Austria, like the cops were chasing us all the time, and so when we started the company, we were considered a commercial operator. So for every commercial flight, so basically even if I just build my drone and I want to do a test flight, I had to recertify the aircraft because it was changed from previously because it was a test flight, and then so we had to file we would have had to file for an authorization, then file for a flight plan, do a risk assessment. So like even just for a very basic test flight, it would have been months of paperwork just to get started. And like so basically what Austria did was chase TBS out of Austria, which we're fine. We pay less taxes here. So fuck Austria.
But even they have recognized it
Yeah,
and changed
it's
it as well.
It's good to see that only 10 years late. It's not too bad.
And actually in Austria, for the special case, they are already online with their own training for the A1, A3 license.
Okay.
You can check that out on their website, but you can do the examination New Year as well, because then the rule will come into force. And it's quite easy to do, actually.
Oh yeah,
So
that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask. So like, what is going to be in the A1, A3 exam, and what is going to be in the A2 exam? Like, I mean, don't tell us the answers, but I guess you're not allowed to.
no, I'm not allowed to. But yeah, it's more or less general things. So about air law, all the things which I have presented you right now will be in there in some kind of way. You have the security and safety aspects. So you have general UAV knowledge, for example, within the A1 category. All those basic things in there. Not going very deep, only on the surface, but that's actually you have a good oversight in the end. And in A2, you need to do a little bit more. So there you have a little bit more of metrology. You need to know about temperatures and hazards of the metrology, and you need to know a lot of things about the one-to-one rule. I think there are 25 questions regarding the one-to-one rule within that pool, but this is Germany only. But altogether, you have 30 questions, and you have the slow flight mode, a lot of questions, so general UAV knowledge as well. And if you're interested in the topic, it's not that big of a chunk to get through that. And we recommend to take 3 days, for example, for the preparation for the test, and then you are done. And with us, you have the online course. You have very nice videos in there. You have a question trainer, and it's quite simple. You can do it anywhere, anytime as you like.
Sweet. So I guess we will still
and maybe you can purchase this via TBS as well later. We'll see.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, sure. Get some
Definitely.
affiliate money.
Yeah, sure.
One more question. What is it going to be like for tourists? So let's say if I were to travel to Germany.
Non-EU residents?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you need to register within the first state where you get into the EU, for example, for the registration. And then you can do the training wherever you want, actually. So with us from Hong Kong, if you like, you can do the registration from Hong Kong as well, if you like. Mm-hmm. And so no need to travel before that, before flights. So quite good, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
And within the EU, they have a common system where they can look up where you came from and where you are registered and things like that.
Nice. Sweet. Okay, cool. Let's see if are there any questions from the chat.
I see here one comment is it's easy 100% on first try. Drone Space AT, this Austrian one. As I told you, this is not quite a big of, not very hard to manage this kind. And,
Alexander, the new EU laws suck.
Yeah, sorry for that. So looking at the comments as well.
Are they allowed to confiscate?
You mean the drones?
Yeah.
Good question. I think this depends on the state and their laws on the member state. Really can't say that. I have not read anything about it within the EU regulation. This will be a member state thing, I guess. And I just saw something like sailplanes, for example. There's a little exemptions for sailplanes below 10 kilograms regarding the height.
Mm-hmm.
You are allowed to fly 120 meter above the pilot, so that you are not standing on a hill, going just straight away and penalty or get the penalty to the 120 meters when you fly into the ridge there, and that's why you are allowed to fly higher with
120 meters is still nothing. But I guess for I mean on the gliders, like holy shit, we have a 8-meter glider in our club, and he always flew until it was a speck in the sky. So probably like 1.5 Ks up. We didn't even know. But I guess if you are in a glider club, then you can have special rules.
Yeah,
for that
I mean,
area,
especially
right?
for the model aircraft associations and clubs out there will be special rules definitely to make that hobby possible even in the future, even with the big ones.
Yeah, because there's no way that you can keep a jet below 120 meters. Just
it's quite hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite hard.
Yeah, definitely. So there will be there will be some things that they can still do that.
Okay.
As before, actually.
Sweet. So yeah, thank you very much. This is what a lounge could look like. When somebody is prepared.
5P, no? Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah, exactly. we just have the 2 Ps, poor performance.
But I love that as well.
Yeah, exactly. People just watch us regardless.
Yeah, that's why. That's
the 2 Ps. I thought you were gonna say pee and poop.
No, man. No potty humor today. We've got an adult in the room.
Sorry, but I have that at home as well with my little ones.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Jan, for taking the time to explain this and explain your courses. Again, copteruni.com. Check it out if you want. And I guess I don't know, what day is today? Wednesday?
Thursday.
Let's see. There we go. Poor performance. Do we have anything for tomorrow?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, cool. All right, so I guess we'll see you guys Monday.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Happy weekend. Thank you very much, Jan. Enjoy your weekend as well, and talk to you soon.
Thank you too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.